These videos are not for children. If you are a children, then piss off.
I hate this channel.
Hey there, I'm Infuso. And it's been said before, but man, these superhero movies are really getting out of hand. And how I wish this movie was out of my hands. And out of my head. And out of my life. Why did I subject myself to this? I already knew it was gonna be bad. I knew it was gonna suck. I watched the I Hate Everything video, and yet somehow, for some reason, I decided, oh yeah, let me sit through this and torture myself for fun. I like superhero movies. I'm sure I'll laugh at this travesty. Wrong. I wasn't laughing, I was crying internally. Because this movie made me wonder, what am I really doing with my life? What is this all for? Why am I doing this? And after that mental breakdown, the conclusion I came to was,
I don't know!
This movie is like those genre parody movies that were big back in the day, except 1,000,000 times worse, and 2,000,000 times less funny. Imagine those parody movies, but on the budget of zero, filmed entirely on a green screen that is awfully lit, with effects that wouldn't hold up 10 or even 20 years ago. And I guarantee you that whatever you're imagining is still better than this final product. This is like a love letter to superhero movies. Except when you open up that love letter, it actually reads, fuck you. This movie, and honestly, I'm not sure legally I can even call it that, plays out more like a YouTube sketch from 2008, made by someone who was tragically born without talent. If you've never heard of this movie before, you're gonna wish it stayed that way in just a second. The Amazing Bulk, yep, that one, is a satirical take on the Incredible Hulk. Though it plays out much more like Ang Lee's Hulk specifically, with significantly worse CGI, if you can believe that. So this movie starts off, and you can already see the problem here, right? I don't really need to explain it. It's there. It's evident. These are live-action people living in an animated world. And this isn't exactly Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Hell, this ain't even Sky Captain in the World of Tomorrow. This is like putting real-life actors in the middle of Food Fight. The movie starts off with a dude sticking a gun in some chick's mouth, and what in the name of naked Thanos is that? Oh god, it looks like Ivan Ooze's left nut. It's like Barney meets the Toxic Avenger. It looks like someone took Apocalypse and then melted him in a microwave. Who animated this? Who intentionally willed this into existence? And I'm just gonna ask the question that people have been asking my family for years. Who's responsible for this atrocity? I just don't get who thought this was a good character design. There is concept art better than this. This looks like the placeholder CGI they would put in a movie before they got around to finishing it all up. This is like the blueprint, but more like the blueprint of a blueprint. It's like the very beginning of a CGI model. But no, this is what they settled for. And wow, these effects. I just want everyone to understand. There is plenty bad to riff on in this movie. But there's actually so much bad going on at once that I actually don't know where to begin. I'm overwhelmed. My brain is still trying to process that shitty green screen, and then you throw this at me. I'll tell you what though, if this is diversion to distract me from how awful the acting in this movie is working. I mean, just look at this shot. They composited a gun and a bullet over this dude's face. Why? He literally just had a prop gun in the last shot. Just add a flare in post. My friend Anthony used to do that all the time in his videos. It's really not that complicated. And it looks substantially less shitty. It's not gonna look great, but it's gonna look a whole lot better than this. The stock city you green screen these people in doesn't even make sense in terms of how it's set up. What even is this? I'm all ready to give up. Less than 5 minutes in and this movie has already broke me. So this purple blob runs off, like I want to right now from this review. And that animation, oh my god, that animation it's on point. How much do you think this cost them? Easily $1-2 right there. Anyway, so after the opening credits, we're taken back to the scene of the crime.
Hey Lisa, take a look at this. What do you make of it?
She already was taking a look at it. Why did you... She was the one doing her job, taking notes, while you were probably licking the icing off your last donut.
Looks like blood. Or something. I don't know.
So, after I heard this line, I googled purple blood, because I felt like I knew a character in something that bled purple and I could use it as a cutaway. Instead, what turned up is this.
Period blood color guide. What colored blood means for your health.
And now, I will probably be taking a prolonged break from Google. I've learned too much and I was happier being stupid. Tweedledum and Tweedledummer find a wallet that doesn't match the identity of either victim. And am I really to believe that sentient anal wart somehow dropped this? Where was he carrying it? He didn't have pants on, let alone pockets. Oh yeah, I don't know if you want to be picking that up then, come to think of it. Maybe grab some hand sanitizer on the way back to the car. Damn, that's some good animation right there. Great animation. Who needs actual 3D animators? There's an app for that now, fuck it. We're taken back to one day earlier. While we're shown a whole bunch of stock 3D models before eventually being brought into what looks like a rendering of my 9th grade science classroom, where our lead, Hank, is complaining that the serum he's been working on keeps turning blue. Obviously, this is the same serum that spawned the entire Blue Man group. And be that the case, do the world a favor and throw it away. And I don't know why, but this dude Hank, his facial expressions are just out of control. They're so all over the place that they somehow managed to chew the already non-existent scenery. I can't even focus on this poorly made 3D rat in the corner of the screen, or the fact that they're working on the only live-action table in a science classroom, because I'm too busy looking at this guy's face and just wondering, what's wrong with him? It's like he delivered all his lines after eating a whole bucket filled with Sour Patch Kids. Every time I see him, I just think back to that one scene from Dumb and Dumber, where the cop drinks what he thinks is beer and then just starts spazzing out. That's this guy the entire runtime. Through some basic exposition, we find out that Hank is frustrated at work, loves his girlfriend Hannah, and intends on proposing to her. They discuss how this could be an issue because Hannah is the daughter of their boss, the general. No, not that. Well, actually, yeah, no, kinda that guy. So wait a second. We have an angry scientist working on a serum for the US government who is in love with the general's daughter. So, just the Incredible Hulk then. This whole movie is just the Incredible Hulk. I can't even properly call this a parody, because it's not like there's any real jokes told. And it's not like there's any commentary on the Hulk or superhero movies in general. This is literally a Hulk movie made without the copyright holder's blessing and without any sort of budget. This is the Nosferatu of Hulk movies. You can see this with your own eyes, yeah? I don't really need to sit here and explain how shit this is. Why am I trying? As a matter of fact, from this point forward, for the rest of the runtime of this movie, I'm just gonna do my best not to mention how awful the graphics in this PS1 movie are. Because if I continue, this is just gonna be unpleasant for all of us. But let me just say, it's not gonna be easy. No, seriously, that is not gonna be easy for me to do. Look, this is the next scene. Hank and Hannah are running, in place. And get used to that because it's bad now, but it's gonna be even worse when you watch characters walk in place. I mean, guys, come on. At the very least, just get them a treadmill. If it worked for Spy Kids 3D, it'll work for you too. Hank and Hannah tiptoe through the tulips. And despite agreeing not to talk about what they call shop talk, it seems like that's the only topic of interest.
Well, I haven't seen your father in a while, so it'll be good to catch up.
Oh, he's anxious to hear how all your research is going. I know. The experiment.
The next day, we're right back to work. And we get what I guess is this movie's equivalent of a montage? This whole sequence looks like it takes place in Jimmy Neutron's brain. After all this, yet another test goes awry, leading to one of the most nonchalant flip-outs ever recorded since Tommy was so in the room.
Don't count backwards from 10. Just don't lose it, man.
No more failures!
Later that night, not Bruce Banner shows up at not General Ross's house. And wait, is that supposed to be water? That's supposed to be a fountain. No, wait. I promised myself I'd stop doing this. I'm moving on. I'm not even 15 minutes in and I still have an hour to go. So this is the General.
I hate dust.
Hank asks General whoever the fuck for his daughter's hand in marriage, which he declines because Hank is a deadbeat who isn't showing progress at work. It's also here that General Kenobi gives the most nonchalant flip out since a little earlier in the movie.
I want to marry her. You knock up my little girl, is that it, huh? Of course not.
Cut to, yeah, you know what? For my own sanity, I'm gonna actually take a break from watching this for a little bit. This is not a joke. I'm stepping away. I'm gonna try to collect myself.
Serenity now! Serenity now!
We're introduced to the main villain, Dr. Cantlove. Can't love it because he can't get it up. You know what? You can laugh at this all you want, but if Lex Luthor can hate Superman because Superman made him bald, I think this is a very valid reason for villainy. We're introduced to Dr. Cantlove. We're introduced to his Cantlove interest. We're introduced to his Spartans? Okay. And this abomination.
Stan told me all about it.
So you're gonna choose a dog word over me, sir?
There's something about this odd couple that you should know, and that's that almost everything they say is a sex pun.
Can we do it now? Please, don't hold out on me. I need it.
Would you like something, hard?
Yes, yes.
And I sat here at my laptop wondering, how can I reference this and make it funny? Or try to make it entertaining? But overall, I decided I can't. And neither could this movie, and they shouldn't have tried to. I would say at least I didn't try, but then, when watching the final product of this movie, you think, did anybody? Usually my metaphors are magical, but my brain cells are slowly dripping out of my ears from having had to watch this. Then they launch a rocket missile, and this lady acts like she's having an organism. Apparently Blondie has a real appetite for destruction. Then there's this unimaginably awful scene that takes place at an amusement park, which actually, spoiler alert, takes place on a green screen. I'm really at a loss here. I am. I don't know what to do. I need to mention it because look at it. But what can I actually say about this? There's nothing my commentary could actually add to this. You just need to let the imagery sink in. Just gotta take a good look around and see what's really going on here. You know, if anything, I'm just the middleman. I'm just bringing it to your attention. On the way home via SimCity train, Hank's attempt to propose goes wrong when the thug from the beginning of the movie threatens him. And I don't know, just the way he's gripping him and standing so close, it's really uncomfortable. Really, really uncomfortable. And then to make matters worse, you have somebody like me editing this, and then I do something like this with it. The guy steals a flash drive with all the information of his experiment on it, and dips off the train. How he got off the train when it was still in motion, I don't know, but I'm still trying to figure out how they're all living in a cartoon world. Following whatever that was on the train, he drives her home. And, oh wow, I can't even process what's real anymore. He drops Hannah off and heads back to his 7th grade science lab, where he continues to experiment with the serum. And the second he begins to see success, he injects himself with it. What is it with these movies? Why do they always do this? Why is it always the scientists looking to test things out themselves? You guys are scientists. Why can you not use your brain? And this is also not how this would be done in real life. You test on a plant, an animal, and eventually you make your way up to human. And when you do, it's never the inventor. It's some no-name homeless dude that's risking his life for 20 or 30 bucks. I mean, don't take my word for it. It's not like I'm some kind of Scientologist, but you know what? I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm somehow complaining about logic in a movie that gives me scenes like this. This ship has clearly already sailed. After injecting himself with his super soldier serum, he turns into a purple bulk of a man. One black screen later, he's back to normal, walking through the same city we saw in the opening shot. It's here that we see this amazing transformation scene.
Don't act like you never done it before.
And we get the luxury of rewatching that same opening scene all over again. And what a thrill it is to relive this piece of cinema history a mere half hour since we got to see it the first time. And why is he here? How did he know this guy was going to be here? Did he even know this guy was going to be here? Did he just run into him by chance? Is this just fate? Is this supposed to play out like how when Tobey Maguire met his uncle's killer? Until 2 movies later, and then they retcon that, so Spider-Man just killed this dude? Just cuz? Is that what this is? Because it's not anywhere near as good. Back to Potiphar in his lovely castle, these 2 clowns give him a ring. But then the fat dude refers to his girl as his Lolita? Really, really uncomfortable. And then he kills these 2 dudes, I guess? Alright.
That was a wild dream.
Oh man, I dreamt that I had a really shitty tribal tattoo that made me look like a custom character in a Tony Hawk game. Hank wakes up to realize that his favorite Teletubby, Tinky Winky, climaxed all over his stomach. I think we've all been there. The cops show up and they exchange dialogue, and when Hank finally goes to answer it, he literally walks off screen only for them all to walk back on screen together. What, you couldn't find a CGI apartment hallway? If they're just giving him his wallet back, there's no need for them to come in. They have more awkward dialogue, where our lead man Henry, side note, I have never in my life until this very moment knew that Hank was short for Henry. Never knew it, just thought they were 2 separate names. How do you get Hank from Henry? I don't understand. My whole life I've been saying it wrong, now I have to start calling this man Tom Henrys? Throughout the conversation, our boy Hankry just looks more and more like a land Magikarp. And I don't know how much longer I'm going to be able to watch this without grabbing a Pokeball. Oh, and by the way, friend, you're doing a real great job of not looking innocent. I mean, I get it. There's some people who crack under pressure. I happen to have a bit of anxiety myself. But this, what is this? This isn't a normal reaction even under these circumstances. His eyes are all shifty, his mouth is doing weird things, he's stumbling on his words, he's having day sweats. What's going on here? If I'm a cop, you're now my prime suspect. That's it. No reason to further investigate. We got our guy. You put his face on the newspaper and no one's gonna question it. The cops, wait, hold up. Is that just a goddamn couch inside a hand-drawn cop car that was made on Microsoft Paint? Every time I think this movie has a new low, it somehow digs even deeper. By time all is said and done, we'll be at the equator. As the suited people speak, Baldy McGee states that he believes Henry's the killer, while his partner Ponytail Gale responds,
What? You're kidding. That sweet man.
Sweet? Sweet. No, I think the word you're looking for is strange, odd, weird, but sweet? Also, why would him coming to this conclusion surprise you? You didn't think from his abnormally jumpy behavior that he might be a suspect? His wallet was found at a crime scene and you didn't think that, maybe this guy has something to do with it. Maybe it's time to turn in your badge, and while you're at it, your certificate in acting. Baldy McGee, or just BM for short, reveals that he got purple on him from shaking hands with this sweet, innocent man. The cops follow Henry back to the scene of the crime, where we're treated to flashbacks back to the scene that we've already seen twice now. Oh, thank you! Thank you so much, movie. You know exactly what it is I was looking for. You son of a bitch. The cops approach Henry, but his anger gets the best of him, and he turns into the incredible hunk of shit. I also like how the cops are already looking up even though he wasn't transformed and he's still at their eye level. It's the little things that really make me question why I'm even bothering pointing them out, in lieu of everything else. They shoot their guns at the Bulk, who takes off running, like Dr. Evil. Not exactly something you'd expect an unstoppable giant to do. I mean, I don't remember the Hulk running from 5-0. Hank Howard ain't got shit on Bruce Banner. You enjoy that running animation, guys? Like it? Like we see? Hope for your sake you do, because you're going to be seeing a whole lot of it. Yeah, it just kind of goes on like this for a while. This is like a Scooby-Doo chase scene on ecstasy, but with more guns and less dogs, and less overall happiness. Wait, what's going on here? This doesn't even make any sense. None of this makes sense. This angle where she's shooting, the fact that they somehow outran the jolly purple giant, none of it makes any sense. Then you got this news team, I think, except it's only a cameraman and a pilot. Is the chick supposed to be the anchor? Because you know the anchors don't pilot the jets themselves. They sit next to the dude piloting the jet. Anyway, it doesn't matter, they're dead. And really, how great is it that they had the actor who played the captain stand in for the bulk? The animation was so limited that they couldn't even get it to swat at a 3D plane. King Kong was made in 1933, and they managed to make that work. Hank turns back and is immediately knocked out and sent to prison.
I've lost track of time in this prison. 10 days could have passed, or 10 years. I can't tell the difference.
Yeah, I get losing track of time. I do it myself sometimes. But I'm pretty sure at this point in time, you would know the difference between 10 days and 10 years. Pretty confident in that. Why don't you just go give that response to a decades-plus inmate, and you watch how quickly you get dropped on your goofy-looking head. Also, shouldn't you be in a jumpsuit? Does the show name Orange is the New Black mean nothing to you? So BM comes to visit Henry Hank Howard, or as I like to call him, Triple H. From this point forward, this man, this guy right here, this person that you're seeing, this is the real Triple H. Not that fake-ass WWE shit. Nah, this is the real deal right here. Did Hunter Hearst Helmsley ever destroy a city full of people? Yeah, didn't think so. This is the real reign of terror. Anyway, BM visits HHH, where he continues to hassle him over the death of his partner. And hear me out, I get it. I get that your friend is dead. But are we really just gonna overlook that this man turned into a giant purple vor creature and went on a rampage? When the guy says he has no control over it, isn't there a part of you that would think, yeah, maybe that's plausible considering you didn't have a say when turning into a giant dickless Mr. Popo? Is it just me? Am I the weird one for thinking that? So the officer slaps him and then takes out his gun. I'm pretty sure this is highly illegal. Like, if you get caught doing this shit, you better just drop your badge off at the front desk on the way out. Also, do you work at this prison? Are you a prison officer or are you a detective? Because I'm pretty sure you can't be both. I mean, don't quote me because I don't know for sure, but I don't think so. You also said something about being judge and jury. And look, I know you're bald, but my man, you're wearing way too many hats. Just then, General Darwin shows up with a syringe? They take him to a facility where he almost transforms. And God, I love it. I just love when we get to see him almost transform because look at those props. Did they come straight off an Ed Wood set? I'm kidding, of course. They came off a Toys R Us aisle because those are Hulk gloves. And I know this because I always wanted them, but I never got them. Santa, if you're listening, still waiting. I'm also 27, so maybe I should just stop writing you. The Cantloves, which by the way, at 51 minutes in, have little to no relevance with the rest of the, and I'm saying this in quotations as I say it, plot. The Cantloves attempt to blow up the moon. And this scene is complete with a bunch of in and out references, because yeah, sure, why not? You've already made it this far, you just whatever. It doesn't matter. It didn't matter to begin with, but it matters significantly less now. Let's just go wild. Who cares? No one's gonna watch this anyway. And scenes like that make me think, oh, who is this movie for? I mean, you would think with the goofy backgrounds and the friendly animals and overall attempt at making a mockery of a superhero movie, that it would be for children. But then you have scenes like this, and I don't know, I'm exhausted, I'm tired, I don't want to do this anymore. Back to the main plot, Triple H and the General trade words. And I gotta admit, the General is straight up spitting fact.
No one expected you to inject yourself with a serum. That was idiotic of you.
Yeah, I agree.
After all that, he finally grants Howard permission to marry his daughter. But Howard, now in the brooding stage of his hero career, decides that it's too late. Anyway, the General gives him a speech telling him he's the only hope humanity has. And yada yada yada. It's also here that he mentions the main villain of the movie. A deal is made so this way Hank will get the antidote to his issues. Though I'm not sure how they would have that before Hank does, if Hank's the one who created the serum, and he only just did that properly. But I'll give it a pass because honestly, I'm excited for this to be over. Long story short, they drop the Bulk into the Doctor's evil secret base because they claim he'd be able to detect a missile, but he would somehow not detect a helicopter and a giant naked Thanos falling from the sky. Yes, much more inconspicuous. Wow, I guess they really couldn't detect him because they can't even see this monstrosity coming right for them. And guess what we get now? Another endless running scene. And I just gotta ask, how big is the Bulk supposed to be? Because it seems to vary from scene to scene. Here he's able to casually pull a helicopter from the sky. Here he's able to stomp a man underneath his foot. At least that's what I think that is. But he's only shown to be twice everyone else's size when he does appear. This movie even gives us a Family Guy-esque flashback.
This is worse than the time the flying saucer broke down, and that little green alien came to the door asking to use their phone.
You think that's bad? Remember the time I got a shaman helmet from Muhammad while wearing a toga?
You know the ones. They have nothing to do with the plot, they're a distraction from the story at hand, and they only contribute to the runtime in an attempt to be funny, but they usually just aren't even worth it. The very next scene is the alleged Lolly walking around blindfolded and copping a feel on Bulk. Did you not hear me before when I called him a dickless Mr. Popo? This isn't even improbable, this is impossible. Mr. Venkman, if you will.
Yes, it's true. This man has no dick.
And then Dr. Can't Love becomes Dr. Can't Live as he's defeated by our hero, I guess? Is that what he is? Cause he doesn't seem like one. Hank calls in to exclaim his mission is done. And that's when they drop the bomb. No, literally, they just start dropping bombs all over him. By the way, you can drop bombs in your movie. You can make sexual innuendos in your movie. Hell, you can even get to second base in your movie. But you can't drop an S-bomb? What kind of shit is that? The general then begins monologuing, revealing that there was never an antidote for his situation, and that the government had cut his funding 2 years prior. But he just didn't tell anybody. He also exclaims that Dr. Cantlove was backing the serum project as a way to cure his ED, hoping to make Dr. Cantlove into Dr. Canlove. But wait, aren't there already things for that? You know, something you could pick up at the pharmacy for a couple hundo, I guess? Something that won't turn you into the love child of Jinx and Sloth? Ultimately, this leads to more running and more pointless animated avatars. This reminds me of me back in the day. You see, I did some backyard wrestling and I found this website where you could make 3D models. So I pieced together a brand new intro for our shows, using what I thought were relevant depictions at the time, but ultimately it was just really goofy looking, and really out of place. Although I was 14 at the time, and this is something a grown adult made. So you know, just compare and contrast on your own. Seriously, what even is any of this? It has nothing to do with anything at all. Why is it here? Did someone get paid to do these? No, I can't imagine that they did. This is definitely taken directly off a stock animation website. You know what? That doesn't really take a whole lot of talent. Look, I can do it too. Look, check it out. This is my brand new movie, guys. What do you think? Degenerates, leave your opinions down in the comment section below. Not Betty Ross is told by her father that Hank died saving the world. And the next morning finds out the truth when he's already in her house. How did her dad not... Whatever. We've made it this far. Let's not make this any longer than it needs to be. The Incredible Hank asks Hannah to marry him, to which she ecstatically agrees. But surprise, surprise, there's the General, and hey, it's nice to see him out of uniform every now and again. Although I think his change in wardrobe makes this next scene a whole lot funnier. It is just incredible. No, wait. Amazing. It is amazing. We then follow that scene up with Hannah visiting her would-be husband's tombstone, delivering a rose, and saying goodbye to him. And hey, look, she's in good company. Baldy McGee's back. And drunk. Dad, come on, put the flask away. You're embarrassing me in front of all my YouTube friends. So he goes to urinate on our hero's headstone, and he's greeted with this. And I shit you not, that is the Amazing Bulk. Oh wait, no, there's also credits. Written in Comic Sans. the perfect quality font for this quality movie. You can't make this shit up. I mean, really, why would you? This movie never fails in failing. If you went into this with low expectations, well, expect to have the bar lowered. This manages to make Troll 2 look not only competent, but like a cinematic classic. There are so many assets that are just constantly reused throughout the movie. Whether they be the same shots, there's a lot of those, the same B-roll animations, the same actor in different parts, the same scenes. The premise is lazy, the script is stupid, the sets are non-existent, and the movie's just strange. You know what the worst part of all this is? Some of these actors are actually trying. Even in this camp-tastic, cringe-inducing cheese fest, some of these people, not all of them, but some of them, are still managing to perform. Like the love interest. She is so incredibly wholesome and somehow likable, despite this movie being this. Can someone get this woman a deal with Hallmark, or at the very least her own Lifetime movie? It's just really unfair that this is what she'll be known for. I just have so many questions, but at the same time, I don't want any of them answered. Because I don't want to contribute to the knowledge I have of this thing. I just want to forget it and move on. But like most trauma, this will forever haunt the shadows of my brain. I hope you guys enjoyed yourselves, because I sure as shit didn't.
I'm the Clown Prince of Crime, and that was the Prince of Personality, the Infuso, or so he says. So if you like the words that came out of his mouth hole and you too want to become a VTard, don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow the man on Twitter, because it's not stalking if it's on the internet after all. Join the fun by joining the Discord. If for some strange reason you want to show support, and I don't know why you would, and if you have $1 to spare, head over to the SIJW's Patreon, where you can request videos, get exclusive content, and early access to scheduled videos. Or head to his PayPal, where you can buy the shirts. Oh, aren't those lovely? And just remember, if you're not tuning in, you're missing out. Yeah.